Okay, I hate to tell you this, but BlackRock is only giving you 24 hours to buy Bitcoin. And I know sometimes when you see hours, time frames like that, you see 24 hours, 48 hours, some people get pissed off because like that happens a lot on YouTube. But it's really true. BlackRock is giving you 24 hours. I have a good reason why that is. If you don't mind, hit subscribe. Turn on the bell notification underneath the video. This is my favorite video of the day. I can tell it's going to be my favorite video of the day because there's so much we have to cover. We have a bunch of things crashing, whether it's stocks, currencies, websites. There's a lot of stuff crashing. There are a couple things that are pumping like crazy. I recently talked to some people that were just hoping that the market calms down or goes down, like actually falls down. And I've got news for you. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'll explain why that is. But let me get into it. If you don't mind, like I said, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification. There is a link to MargX underneath the video in case you want to trade cryptocurrencies. You can see we're coming into this triangle. And there could be an explosive move. Like we've seen massive flows into the ETFs. We have an ETF update here today too. We've seen just massive flows into the ETFs. And yeah, we've consolidated so quickly up into the $64,000 to $67,000 range. And it's getting tighter. Get ready for an explosive move. Be ready because that is coming for sure. And if you want to set up your position, you can go set it up on MargX. There's a link to this underneath the video. Now, crypto has been nuts. We are approaching all-time highs. Yesterday, obviously, we saw a big crash, right? Let me pull up TradingView, actually. We saw a 14% crash over a few hours. And it shook a lot of people out. Basically, what happened, and we've already talked about it, but just a reminder here for a second. We had some selling, we had some liquidations, all happening within a very short time frame. People that were too aggressive got wiped out, and we went down 14%. Since then, we've come back up, like within shooting distance of the all-time high again. Now, how long did this take? How long did this 14% move take? As I said, it just took a few hours, from 9 till 3:30. We went from top to bottom. 13:30. So like 3 hours, 4 hours, it took us to go 14% down. Now, some people that don't like Bitcoin would say, oh, well, obviously, this is way too volatile to be a good asset. That's what's likely to happen when we're in such an explosive asset. And we've seen moves to the upside, similar to this too. Now, what this really shows me is the buyers are unrelenting. And I've said that a lot, but it's really true. Like what happened? BlackRock bought a record amount, like 25% more than they've ever bought in a day. They came out, they didn't care. They didn't stop calling their clients or tell them, oh, hold off on buying. We're down a little bit. No, they slammed the buy button. And literally from the time that we started falling to the time that we got back up to $66,000, it was less than 24 hours. It was closer to 12 hours that it took before we were 70% bought back up from that dip. Like that dip did not last 24 hours. That's why I say BlackRock is giving you 24 hours because yeah, you might see a dip. And after the ETFs were approved, we saw a dip then. This was like a month and a half ago. We saw a dip then. That was stored up weak hands, like stored up because they were buying in anticipation of the ETFs. Now we've shaken out so much leverage. We've shaken out so many weak hands. Like there's not much Bitcoin to go around. And I know I've said that a lot, but there's not much time either to buy that Bitcoin when we see dips. And we can see more dips. I'm not saying we won't. We definitely will see more dips. We'll see more crashes, like 15% moves in a day. We're going to see that. But we're also going to see the same thing on the upside. And when there are more buyers than sellers, well, yeah, we're going to keep on moving up. And the ETFs continue to buy. Let's just take a look down the line here. IBIT with 1.6 billion in volume today. Now, that's not a record, right? That's not a record, but that's still a lot of volume. It's still top 15 in terms of ETFs. And this is coming off of a record day yesterday. It's not like they're sitting there saying, okay, we bought enough yesterday, we're done. No. Fidelity with a big day today as well, 1.1 billion. GBTC with 20% less volume than FBTC. Now, we don't know how this is going to shake out in terms of what this equates to. We've seen different flows in the past. Like, for example, one day FBTC might do 2 billion in volume and only have 126 million in inflows. A different day, it does 1 billion in volume and has 400 million inflows. So it can change, but what we've seen is positive days every day. And obviously, if there's more volume, there's more of a chance that we see a lot of inflows. So we're going to have to see how this all shakes out, but it is nice to see as well that GBTC volume is actually below FBTC. And honestly, we have not seen that in the last 4 days. I don't know if we've seen that in the past. Usually GBTC is always above FBTC, but FBTC is a net buyer and GBTC is a net seller every single day. You can also see GBTC's selling pressure going down from 599 million to 492 to 368 to 333. Maybe we have even a smaller day yet to continue that downward slope of selling pressure. Now, I have had some people, and we'll get to plan B here in a second. I've had some people say that they wish we would slow down a little bit. And I've said that too, that I'm okay with us calming down. But I've also heard some people say that they think that they would rather have Bitcoin at 100,000 at the end of 2025 instead of 140,000 this year. And the reason I throw those numbers out, or the reason I think they throw those numbers out, is because typically in the past, it's taken less than 3 months for us to double after we hit a new all-time high, which would be 140,000. Now, I don't think that there's a big chance that it takes us until the end of next year to hit 100,000. I mean, you can see just the massive move that's happened from 40,000 to 70,000 within 50 days. And this is when a lot of sellers have come into the market. This is when the Bitcoin halving is approaching, and we haven't actually had the Bitcoin halving cutting down the selling pressure. We haven't had the Fed start cutting rates. Like, none of that stuff has happened, and we went from 40,000 halfway to 100,000. I don't think it's going to take another 20 months for us to go up to 100,000. I think there's probably a 5% chance or less that happens. I think the chances that we hit 140,000 are much higher, right? And in the past too, like if you're sitting there on the sidelines wishing that you had more time, like, let's just zoom out and think about how high we might go and how long we might stay there. So in the past, when we broke the previous all-time high, like, we did not touch that again for years. And we were just floating above it, whether we were at 30,000 or 70,000 or 50,000. We were in all those ranges, but that was all higher than the previous high. Now, maybe that doesn't happen this cycle, right? We've seen something that we had never seen before, which is that we fell down below the previous high. Maybe we fall down in the bull market, like maybe we have a little bit of a pullback and we go below that 70K mark again. But if the last market is any indication, we might spend years above 70K before we ever see it drop below that again. So, like, if you think that 100K is too explosive, like, that might be the bottom of the next bull market. Like, we might go up to 140, then consolidate to 100. Like, this is just the start. After we make a convincing break above, like, we don't know where we're going from there. And I would not bet on the fact that you can buy more Bitcoin under 60,000, 65,000. Like, I just wouldn't bet on it. So if you want to buy, like, you can see the ETFs just continuously swallowing up Bitcoin. So if you want to buy, like, this is probably your time to dollar cost average into the market right now. Plan B talks about this a little bit. He says, in 2015, I bought Bitcoin because it was scarce, only 21 million. I read everything about unforgeable scarcity, and realized that Bitcoin would be scarcer and more valuable than gold, which was a $10 trillion market cap. It's interesting. People keep on saying it's a $10 trillion market cap now, but it's actually like 13 trillion. A little bit of a difference there. And he also says the halvings are crucial. In 2019, I wrote the Stock to Flow article. My investment strategy has been long around the halvings, partially out of the market between the halvings. Not saying anything is true, right, or sensible, and certainly no financial advice or guarantees, but that's my Bitcoin journey. he says basically this is the time to be investing. And I've looked at this before too. This is very true if you look at other charts, like the rational root. I've shown that a lot with the spiral chart. But typically, if you buy 6 months before the halving and sell about 18 months after, like that is when all the returns are. That's when the bull market happens. And then the bear market is 18 months after the halving. And that's when the most bullish news comes out, is like right when we head into the bear market. We see a massive pullback, and then we see a lot of despair, depression, anxiety for another 2 years. And then we see the bull market again. So right now is like the first quarter of the time that you want to be long Bitcoin. Like we're a month away from the halving. So we, in the past, historically would have had about another 19 months of really green markets. So he's saying, yeah, this is the time to go long. Now, the market looks a little bit less translated, like we're moving faster earlier, mostly because of the ETFs. So maybe this time's a little bit different in that it's not 18 months after the halving, but generally like we're still seeing in a very bullish time. Now, a couple cryptos I've talked about recently, and then we'll get into everything that's crashing right now. That's absolutely nuts. Tips. Talked about this in the last couple videos. It continues to move up. 1.85 million, talked about in the first video today at 1 million. It launched at like 100K market cap. It's doing extremely well. You can go find out more information on their Twitter page, just the tip, and it's verified. It's trading on Jupiter. Sync is also just breaking out to the upside, like continuously. It's up 56% for the day. I'm a large holder in Sync. Like I am long Sync. It's up 10x, 15x maybe since I got in a while ago. And I am staking my Sync. I'll leave a link to stake your Sync underneath the video. You can use my code to get a rebate to get some extra Sync tokens. But I'm making a full video on this, and I'm probably making it later tonight, or I'm going to post it later tonight if you want to get more information on it. Now, let's get into the stuff that's crashing right now. New York Community Bancorp down 45% today, and it was halted. It was halted because of pending news. And I've talked about this before. I've talked about New York City Bancorp before because it was crashing. Let's reload this too, because now it's saying it's actually up. So looks like something changed, like it was frozen and then it opened back up. They plunged because of an attempted capital raise. They lost a lot of money when they said that they're going to, or when it was expected that they're going to make money. So now it looks like they rebound after troubled regional bank announces $1 billion capital infusion. So yeah, crazy. This is a shit coin. Like people make fun of cryptos, and just because it's up on the day does not necessarily mean like this is a healthy position. Like they're taking on a bunch of debt, much needed debt sounds like, but this plunged to a record low. It went down. It's a bank. They should be printing money, and instead they went down 45% today. So a lot of people panicked all the way down, and then it got frozen, and then it's up. I don't know about you, but I would not feel good if I was investing in this company. And take a look at this. Like, again, the SEC is here to protect us, but they let us buy stuff like this that goes down 75% in a few months. And again, they're supposed to be backstopped by the government, kind of. They're private, or their stock, but yeah, they are a bank, like pretty much backed by the government, and still you can be wiped out in something like this. Binance also crashed today. I shouldn't say that exactly. They did shut down Solana withdrawals. I don't know if this is fixed, but Coinbase crashed. New York City Bank crashed. Binance kind of crashed. I mean, they stopped withdrawals because of something with the Solana network. The Egyptian pound crashed. It's down 37% against the US dollar after switching to a flexible exchange rate. Imagine losing 37% of your savings in a day. This is why we Bitcoin. Yeah, that's just nuts. Another thing that crashed, CoinGecko. Like CoinGecko apparently is over capacity. Like everything is crashing. Make sure that you have multiple exchanges set up. Make sure you have multiple wallets. Make sure you're using cold storage. Make sure you're using hot wallets. Make sure you're using everything and you have everything spread out, and be ready because there's volatility coming. This is going to happen so much more during the bull run. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. Yet the markets are explosive. Like we are seeing huge moves up and down. Like we are stuck right in this range too. Really interesting. Maybe we break below it, maybe we break above it. But if you want to play this, again, there's a link to Margex underneath the video. You can check out Sync as well. Like I said, you can go stake your Sync tokens if you want to go buy some. I still think there's more room, and I think there's still more room to the upside, but this is one of my higher risk bets. Part of it too is it's just up so much. It's up 1,000% in the last 30 days. Absolutely nuts return, doing extremely well. Huge treasury. So yeah, definitely check that out. Wait for my video later tonight. And I do have a rundown on the market, like some other stuff that's happening in the market that's coming out later. It's going through a huge tweet thread from one of the best analysts out there. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think about Blackrock just swallowing up as much Bitcoin as they can get their hands on. Like, yeah, they are just giving you 24 hours. Yeah, you can have a dip. You can have a dip as much as you want. 15%. We'll let you liquidate $1 billion worth of longs, but you only get 24 hours because then we're buying it right back up. I mean, when you look at their inflows from yesterday, they basically just swallowed up all the longs that were liquidated. Like, the numbers are almost equal to each other. So yeah, just crazy, the demand out there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I will see you in the next video. Hit subscribe if you want to see future videos just like this one. Bye.